Girls of Reddit, what is the best way a guy you don't know can start a conversation without being creepy or annoying? A guy at a bus stop asked me what my favorite snack was. We talked about popcorn for 10 minutes before the bus got there. By the time we boarded the bus, I was really wanting some popcorn and he asked me if I wanted to go see a movie and get some popcorn. Of course I did. That guy was a genius. Girls like snacks. Hey, did you know that Pac-Man's original name was Puck-Man? It's based on Paku Paku, the Japanese term for chewing, but when the game went to America they got worried people would change the P to an F. So that's Pac-Man now. Hey, wanna see pictures of my cat? I like your shirt. Boom opens dialogue and her interest in what she's interested in. It's solid green. What are you, an idiot? Gum's gotten mintier lately. So, giraffes. Too tall. It takes a big man to admit when they're wrong, but it takes an even bigger man to give a giraffe a haircut. You like jazz? One thing I've noticed is that a lot of guys don't think it's creepy to ask where I live if I'm waiting for public transport. If you've just met me and open with that, there's no way I'm telling you any more locally than in the town, city we are already in. I've asked guy friends about it though and they all seemed genuinely surprised that I thought it was creepy. Have gotten off buses early before because of this, because I've felt uncomfortable with a stranger knowing where I live. Don't get me wrong, if we've been chatting and it's likely we'd chat again then it's okay to ask. But not in the first 2 minutes. Don't automatically hit on me or just assert yourself. Bring in common interests or ask me a simple question like, oh, is that a Manchester Orchestra shirt? Or something like that. I'm super friendly and will talk to most people as long as I don't feel threatened or uncomfortable. If I have my headphones in or I'm reading a book, please don't start a lengthy conversation with me. Keep an eye open for signs of wanting to be left alone, like wearing headphones or reading a book. I once said to a girl, hey, we are in the same math class, right? And now we are married. Always take math, guys. Always. That's the key. Guy here that learned a hard lesson. It's not about how to approach girls. Learn how to approach people. The easiest way is to compliment every time something catches your eye. To everybody. Not something they were born with or generic. Things like, I love the pattern on that shirt, or hey, that necklace is super cool. I've even complimented makeup. The next step is to read their response. Did they ignore you or just give a simple thanks and move on? Move on. They took the compliment but aren't interested in conversation. Did they get mad? Keep practicing. You picked something they weren't intentionally trying to show you. Did they brighten up and start talking? Carry on. Friend. You nailed it. The idea is simple. They picked the thing you complimented because they thought it looked good. Complimenting that is validating their taste and nothing more, which if done casually is really hard to be creepy or annoying. And as an added bonus, it's assumed you are saying they look good in it, so it's 2 compliments in one with almost no risk of doing it wrong. One very important thing to keep in mind, approaching with no perception of any common interests will make it difficult to have a genuine conversation that doesn't feel forced. For example, don't just approach someone random because you think they're pretty, only to have this be your only point of attraction. Many girls will write off guys who do this because their intentions are clearly superficial from the get-go. Sure, he was interested in starting a conversation, but his initial attention wasn't drawn by anything substantial. Instead, try to observe a possible common interest to start your conversation with. This could be anything from a band t-shirt from a band you like, to something you overheard her say earlier that shows you have something in common you can talk about. If you want to increase your chances of success with this, try meeting people at places where common interests congregate. For example, people who go to art exhibitions generally have an eye for art. People who go to comic conventions are generally nerdy. People who go to video game tournaments are generally gamers. People who go to sporting events are generally sport fans. This automatically gives you something to talk about, or a small base on which to build a more stable conversation. If you want to further avoid being creepy or annoying, don't go into it with a flirting mindset. Girls know that guys who flirt with them before even knowing who they are tend to be shallow men with superficial motivations. Get to know someone based on conversation first. If that conversation goes really well and you feel like you're hitting it off, and you've guessed that the single, playfulness and mild flirting isn't out of the question. Tips for the nervous and socially awkward. Don't push yourself to get to know people who aren't reciprocating your conversational attempts, or who seem disinterested. It's usually not a reflection on you, it's a reflection of you both. The other person may just not be interested at the time, or may not share your enthusiasm for the topic at hand. That's okay, a simple "it's been nice chatting with you, see you around" will suffice. Don't force yourself to be interested in a person for the sake of conversation. Try expressing your interest in something within the environment and then bring the person into that conversation. Examples: art at a museum, cheer stunts at a sport event, video game demos at a convention, pool game at the bar. There's always something in the environment that they may already be engaged with. This is a good chance to talk to someone. It puts a lot less pressure on a stranger when they feel like your mutual interest in something else is the reason to continue the conversation, not your interest in them. This also takes pressure off of you, because you can direct get-to-know-you questions at them, or you can talk about the thing in front of you both. If you get rejected or have a disinterested reaction at any point, remember that this is a reflection of your compatibility with that person. Not all people. Learned this one from Uncle Aaron. First, you lay your hand on her shoulder, then you give her the look. Finally, you top it off with the "hey." Give a genuine compliment on something small you've noticed, an accessory, personality trait, or her laugh. Or try to notice something she's noticing, or looking at, and comment on it. Also, it helps if those compliments are aimed at something we have agency over. Your makeup is gorgeous, or your glasses are cute, or laughing at a joke she makes suggests you like things that we are controlling for ourselves. You look hot, or even "wow, you're really pretty" may be meant sincerely as completely innocent compliments, but they can come off in a way that suggests you're only admiring us for things like our bodies or our facial features. Make us feel like you like our styles or our senses of humor or skills or hobbies. You like Huey Lewis and the News. Insert name. It won't come off as creepy if you start with something that seems like a genuine interest. I go to bookstores a lot, and a guy once chatted to me about how much he liked Murakami since I was looking at some of those titles. This could be something like a band shirt or a video game they're looking at playing. Basically, it's like you see us as a person with interests and feelings rather than someone you're just trying to bang. Not only does it make you seem like you're actually interested, but you'll most likely find a girl you actually have something in common with, rather than just a random human you find physically attractive. Drop a Magnum condom on the ground to demonstrate that you have a monster dong. Top response from a guy. Find anything you can in common. Just bring up your common interest. Make sure you ask open-ended questions, so the conversation doesn't seem forced. As long as it feels like a genuine interest, it won't come off as creepy. So, do you like dissecting frogs and starting fires too? I tend to carry a book or drawing book with me, and while, from time to time, I sink into it and want my peace of mind, whenever I lay it down quite a lot and look around, or just decide to lay it down completely for that chapter inapproachable, and I love the question what I'm reading, or drawing, or what book I'm carrying, I can give you a real interest and opinion, and let's go from there. What I'm hearing here is you can only chat to women if they're wearing a band t-shirt and with no distractions whatsoever. Not an easy thing to find in your late 20s. You can be proud of how intelligent you are, but don't show it off. I get that guys try to prove to me that they're super smart, but in that certain context, to a complete stranger, it comes off as patronizing and belittling. Don't dumb yourself down, but try to let the girl do most of the talking at first. Let her warm the conversation up, and give up on trying to flirt with girls who are on the job, store attendants, waitresses, cashiers, also the gym. Just don't. I promise you, she is not into it. I think a lot of people are different on this. The best advice is to pay attention to the responses you get. If I take my headphones out, answer you and then put them back in, then leave me alone. If you are getting one word, short answers, then also leave me alone. If she's getting broccoli, just walk by singing chopping broccoli. If she doesn't laugh, keep moving. I'm just gonna list some common mistakes I've seen. Know that there are certain topics you should avoid right off the bat. Probably stay away from race, ethnicity and comments on someone's physical appearance. Even positive ones can come off really creepy if you don't know what you're doing. Just be wise and avoid them. Also, don't initiate physical contact. Don't reach out and touch her arm or whatever. Super weird. Don't ask for too much personal information, even if it's in a casual way, where she lives, what she does, etc. This can be fine if it comes up organically, but just be conscious of the fact that you don't want to look like you're cataloging details about her. One time someone I had just met asked me, "What kind of car do you drive?" Why do you need to know? Also, learn the difference between a girl humoring you because she's trying to be polite and a girl who is genuinely enjoying the conversation. If it's the former, you should disengage. Tell her to have a nice day and leave her alone. Make a comment about something happening around you. If you're at a bar or coffee shop or restaurant and some random is doing something funny or wearing something weird, point it out. Say a guy across the room is wearing a huge purple hat. Say something like, "Do you see that guy's hat? It's crazy. Would you wear something like that?" And if she responds with a grunt or a single word answer, then she isn't interested and go back to your friends or do your own thing. If she responds with a whole sentence, like, "I like his hat, I'd wear that," then go ahead and keep talking to her. 3 pieces of advice. Back off if she doesn't seem interested in the conversation. If you have a genuinely good conversation, meaning you actually got along well, offer her your number. If she's interested, she'll reach out. If she takes it and isn't interested, she felt obligated to take it but she wasn't interested. If she doesn't take it, say something like, "Well, thank you for the conversation," or "Have a good night per day," and smile. Then go do your own thing. Especially if you're Saturday next to each other at a restaurant or something and there's no leaving until one of you gets the check. Go on your phone or something to end the conversation fully so she can relax and get back to her own stuff. Don't get ahead of yourself. If you're going to talk to someone, don't make it about getting her number or seeing her again before you even know if you connect. Conversations with strangers are only creepy if you feel like they are trying to get something from you. If they're enjoying the conversation and are happy to stay at a conversation, it won't be creepy. Think of the difference between having chill small talk with the cashier at a grocery store and the kiosk guy who follows you a few steps at the mall. One feels desperate and annoying, and the other is relaxed and can be fun. If you're looking for a new podcast and are interested in dating, I highly recommend You Up. The hosts are a man Jared Fried and woman Jordana Abraham in their 30s and take listener emails about dating and relationships. They do a good job at presenting actionable steps towards being a more fun dater. I listen to it every week because they are hilarious and have very different perspectives on most of dating issues young people face. I believe I once told a girl, "It looks busy in here." As she rung me up for food, she giggled and said thank you, then turned into mush. I'd like to know what I said in her head. Whatever it was great. I saw a girl with a Tinkerbell shirt. The art was more realistic than cartoony. I told her that it reminded me of my favorite video game. We are now married. Lesson here: video games get you laid. P.S. The game was Zelda. We got married to Zelda's Lullaby orchestrated. It was awesome. Be aware of social norms and pay attention to body language. On the one hand, breaking social norms a little bit can help you stand out. On the other hand, people who don't get social norms can come across as creepy, unpredictable or even dangerous. If the person you're trying to talk to turns away, looks away, closes up the body, etc., take the hint that you're stressing them out and make your exit. The last thing you really want to do is establish a first impression as a source of stress. Some people are into breaking conventions. Some people are going to be into chatting on the bus or whatever. Some people are going to be into it when they're in a group going to a nightclub and not into it on the morning commute. Pay attention to how they're responding and you'll probably save yourself a lot of very awkward conversations with girls who don't want to talk in that time and place. Making an observation about something that pertains to her style, intellect and not her body. Examples include a compliment on a clothing selection or a backpack style, glasses, etc. If you get a positive response and she engages, continue the chat. If she says thank you and departs the scenario, you also have feedback. It's all about reading the feedback response. I remember seeing a comment on Reddit, years and years ago, answering to a post asking a question sort of like this. Except it was about headphones, I think. Now I'm paraphrasing from memory, but it went something like this. Some girls are just shy. Just walk up, lightly take off their headset, and introduce yourself. That got downvoted to hell, so, don't do that.